Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Brats are appealing in theory, different in reality, but I'm willing to try. That's right. Today, our topic is brats. And although this was a difficult bullet point to try to put together.
It was so hard.
Because I'm inexperienced in brats. Because I don't have to deal with a brat.
Nope, I am not a brat.
You are a good girl.
I am a very good girl. Thank you for saying that on air. I have it recorded for all times.
It'll be your ringtone, probably.
Good girl.
Yep.
You're a good girl.
There you go. Now you have it. Yes, so we're going to talk about brats. We have talked here and there throughout several episodes about brats. We decided let's dive a little deeper into the brat dynamic. It is something I'm willing to explore. I want to understand more of it. I would love to sharpen my skills.
Yes.
When it comes to a brat. Talking about it was difficult for us to try to prepare for this episode. So we're going to go through it the best we can. This is, once again, as it says in the opening song of our opinions, which makes
it's our thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, which is what makes BDSM so great. And we've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. It's not a cookie cutter type dynamic. Everybody's is different. Everybody's terminology is a little different. Everybody's definition is a little different. And you take what you want to make your dynamic look like, and that's how you base it on. So let's dig into what is a brat, really. What is it? So for me, a brat is a submissive who exhibits playful defiance, insolence, or resistance towards their dominant partner.
They challenge boundaries and act up as a game, desiring to submit but enjoying the tension, attention, and dynamic of pushing their dom's buttons.
Yes.
Boop, 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 boop. I do that once in a while.
You do that, and we have discussed it. We've talked about it before. It's not because you're a brat.
Nope.
There are times things get hectic in my life. There are times that I'm not being the dom that you want, or I'm not taking the control when you're needing it. And on those times, you'll poke the bear.
I will.
You'll poke a little bit here, but it instantly triggers me to realize what's going on. And the minute I give you a look, it all stops.
So to me, there's a big difference between playful resistance and actual disobedience, right?
Correct.
So
yes.
when I'm being that to you, I'm not doing it in a disrespectful way.
Correct.
I'm, like you said, it's kind of like poking the bear. It's just showing you that, hey, I'm feeling like you're not setting up my boundaries real good right now, or not following our current DS dynamic.
Right.
Because of these things, and I recognize it. So I'm not coming to you crying or sobbing or screaming or yelling.
Right.
I don't want to create a fight. What I want to do is playfully let you know.
Right.
And it's like, I'll push you 2 or 3 times in, like, either I'll poke you or tickle you or rub your nipple, which you hate, and
Absolutely.
You'll look at me and you know then that I'm looking to have a little bit more control and structure put back in place.
Right.
And That's playful.
Yes.
It's not disobedient. It's not you give me a task and I say, F you, I'm not doing your task.
Correct. Or it's, not humiliating or being out in public and just ignoring any kind of direction or anything, like you said, it is the playful. So the playful resistance, it's playful antics towards your dom while remaining respectful and following the guidelines of your dynamic.
Again, following the guidelines of your dynamic.
Yep. And to me, a disobedience is to disregard a task or a command by your dom and or disrespecting them in general. I could see it would be very easy to disrespect in public. I see it being a little harder in private. It could still be done, but I would feel more disrespected in public than I would in private for me.
But if I did it in private, I think your reaction would be a little bit different too.
Yeah,
I could disrespect you.
I
could
yes.
piss you off in a second.
Right.
But I think that when you do it in public, you're showing disrespect not only to you as an individual, to you as my partner, but to you as a dom.
Right.
Like I will not follow your directives because I think you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yep.
I don't think that that's a good way to do it. So bratting, to me, when a sub is engaging in bratting, or me even, it's a way for a sub to have engagement with their dom, attention, and interaction. I don't feel like when I'm bratting that I'm doing it because I'm, and again, we've had discussions with our friends, sassing versus bratting.
Correct.
I'm not bratting you. I'm not being a little bit sassy because I'm trying to earn a punishment.
Right.
I'm trying to get you to say, hey.
To switch my mindset to get back into the mental dominant side of things is what your intentions are.
Yes. So I think that for the wider group of people who enjoy bratting, I think that it's very necessary for a dom to set the boundaries, have discussions, do that kind of stuff, because then I can do this. I can engage with you. I can get your attention. I can do it within our dynamic, and it's fun. It's a little bit playful.
Right. And it can be. But a dom should look at this as an invitation to lead and not as defiance. With our dynamic, that's how I see it. It's an invitation for me to say, step up your game. It's a nice way of you saying, here's kind of how I see it. Anytime you kind of poke the bear, here's what rolls through my head. All right, dumbass, you're fucking up as being a dom. It's time to step up your game a little bit. They're noticing. So that's kind of the thought that rolls through my head with you. Now, again, it's not like that with everybody.
Right.
But it can be fun. It can be challenging. It can change the game a little bit. I mean, if it's done right. And that's the exciting part for me.
I think that there's a time when bratting can enhance the relationship, enhance the DS dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's times when it disrupts it.
Right.
And there's a big difference between the two. And I've seen both of them in action.
Yes.
And it's really important to understand you as a brat or a submissive who wants to have that kind of dynamic, whether you're doing it to enhance the relationship because you're respectful and you want their attention and you want to give your attention, and that's the best way for you to do it, as either a little or as a brat or as your natural submission.
Correct.
But then if you're taking it to the point where it's disrupting the dynamic, now you have to relook at it and reevaluate, is this healthy and is it what you want?
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the line between play and disrespect. Now, keep this in mind. Not every dom wants a brat.
Every dom wants a brat.
Not every dom wants a brat.
Oh, I thought you said every single one.
Not everyone. There is the doms out there that wants the absolute good girls, that this is black and white. This is the structure. Here's the foundation. Here's the guidelines. This is how you will act. This is how you will answer me. This is what will happen. You have those.
That would be painful.
Honestly, I think it would be boring. I mean,
For us.
for us, yes, for me, I don't want.
None of our
Every
friends
time.
either. Our
Yeah.
friends all like
They all like
little,
the sassing and the bratting and the little back and
however
forth.
they word it, they
Yes.
like that back and forth. They
Yes.
don't want somebody who just says, yes, sir.
Right. I mean, that to me, that would be, I would get no fun out of it. I mean, take your clothes off. Yes, sir. Or don't touch that door handle. Yes, sir. It's that kind of, I would not enjoy that.
Right.
So
you want somebody
I
to go,
want
what
a
is
little
the
bit-
problem
I
with this
want a
door
little bit.
handle?
Yeah. I want occasionally for you to touch that door handle and step out, because I'm going to walk around the truck. I'm going to open the door, make your ass get back inside and sit there for a minute,
What?
and then open the door
That
and let
seems
you
like
out.
a lot of work,
It
sir.
is, but it's fun.
It's-
To me, that is fun.
All right. I'll remember that next time I get out of the car and go running down.
You're not running nowhere. That's the problem. I mean,
There will be a time.
there will come
And
a
I'm
time.
just going to run to the other door and open that one too.
Right. So what signals that bratting is allowed? Obviously, first and foremost, it can be negotiated upon. If you are a dom and you don't, then it needs to be laid out. So if you're one of those doms that don't like bratting, that needs to be laid out in the table at the very beginning. I do not like it. I do not want it.
Yep.
Make sure you define what bratting is, because again, some call it sassing. So everybody has a different kind of terminology definition
And a different
to it.
level of what they
Right.
are going to allow.
Right.
Not what signals that bratting is allowed for me is when you talk to me and ask me to do something.
Yeah.
You'll say, I think your clothes should come off. And I will look at you and I'll go, I don't think I want to take them off tonight.
Yeah.
At which point you'll look at me and you go, I really think they should come off. And I'll go, maybe not. And then you'll go, take off your clothes now.
Take off the damn clothes.
Take them off. And at which point I'm like, I better either take the punishment or take off the clothes.
Yep. So when it becomes a command,
Yes.
it should be followed. And it's a learning thing for both the submissive and the dominant.
So basically there's structure, and when it's not completely defined. So you go through, you say, here's what I expect, here's what I'd like, here's what we need to do in this dynamic. But when it's not, you can test the waters. So that's my testing the waters.
That's your testing the waters, yes. The other thing is when you get to know your dom and you get to know their tone and their
There is no dom tone.
And their sentence pacing and their word pacing, how they say things. Because there is a difference, again, like I think you should take off your clothes, and
that gives me an out. I'm allowed to brat.
But then when I go, a slower pace, deeper tone, take off your clothes.
That's sexy. Can you do that again, sir?
Well, you can replay it.
No, one more time.
Take off your clothes.
Oh man, I love
Not
that.
right now. We're in the middle of a podcast.
Okay,
Keep them on.
And
Keep them on, Lady
and
Dee.
YouTube will X that out.
We're off of YouTube permanently now. All right. Yeah. Keep your clothes on there. But also you got to look and you got to define between public and private behaviors. You've got to determine when bratting is allowed. Is it allowed anytime that the submissive would like to? Is it only allowed in private? Is it only allowed during a scene? What is the limitations for the bratting that can occur?
I think when it comes to submissive that require to be brats or to require that dynamic in their DS relationship, I think that boundaries become the backbone. Like you have to have boundaries. You have to define it so they're safe to be a brat. They have opportunity, because if you take that away from somebody who that's part of their submissive, then you're taking away what they need to be satisfied or to be happy in a relackage. So instead of taking away, you just really clearly define the boundaries of when it's so that's the backbone. And it's not so much that you're saying, I'm not going to accept, these are all your limitations. Don't do it here. Don't do it there. Basically, you're building a foundation for them to have that safe place, to know exactly when you're going to allow them to push or when you're going to pull them back and say, this isn't appropriate.
Exactly. Now you've also got to keep in mind that a weak structure will turn bratting into chaos. So without, clearly defining, and if you don't know how to clearly define it, that's okay too. That's where you experiment with it.
Yes.
You test the waters, and that you come up with another safe word, or you could use your actual safe words that if you feel your submissive is taking it too far, you say yellow, and that lets the submissive know immediately, hey, I need to stop. We need to talk about this either right then, or is it going to be a side conversation for later when we're in a little more private setting? But, if you can't clearly define it, even with me, if I had somebody right now that said, I enjoy bratting, what are your limitations? What are your guidelines? I don't fucking know.
Right.
Let's test it out. Let's see how
what
it
that
goes.
interaction
Let's see what it looks like.
But in order for them to have a safe space, you're going to have some definition of boundaries.
You would have something, yes.
Like, would there be a situation where there's a hard limit in what you would accept as a brat?
Right. Obviously, again, disrespecting me. If what
I'm
you're
not allowed
doing,
to call you a dick.
Correct.
I would never do that.
Correct.
I love you too much.
Any kind of name calling, any kind of disrespecting for me automatically is a hard limit. I would not want to pursue any further with anybody that does anything to disrespect
name calling
me.
and
if it's in a private setting, I feel that it would be harder to disrespect me. Obviously calling me names, but if we're in the middle of a scene and I hit you hard enough and you're like, oh, what a dick or something like that, then that would be different.
I think you'd still get mad at me and might hit me one more time.
But it wouldn't be as
because
bad.
I didn't say yellow or I didn't say red.
But it wouldn't be as bad as being out in public.
So was bratting when I went green, does that come off as bratting or does that come off as disrespect?
I took whenever you say you say it commonly while on the cross, I take it as a little bit of amp it up, you weak ass, is kind of what.
But I'm not saying that. I would never say that.
You're not, but that's what I hear.
But even because
I don't consider it a disrespectful.
Now, I have said to you, I've in all honesty, with all the respect in the world, sir, green.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want you to take it wrong because you had implements that could hurt me. And I was like, with all respect.
But no, that's what I couldn't take that as any kind of disrespect or anything because, again, that's our safe words. And that's what we practice. That's what we preach.
So some of what you have to do is create, so if we're talking hard limits, right? So safe words, you're always going to have to accept them. That's part of it.
Yep.
But if you're saying that these are you've already got limits that you know about, then there's things that might be soft limits too. There might be things that you're like, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel, but why don't we play it by ear?
Public settings would automatically be a soft limit. I don't know how I'd feel in public settings. What type of bratting will you be doing in public settings? If it's something that's not noticeable to anybody else, I would probably be okay with it. We'll test the waters. We'll see how it goes.
I wonder if a brat, and I'm not a brat. I'm just not. I can do a little bit, but I wonder if brats literally can tell you if you don't have your limit set, then when you say, well, it's kind of a soft limit, if they're bratting, does it get out of control?
I would say it could get out of control. Yes.
So you have to kind of
but it would be a building thing. Again, I'm unclear of where my limits are, and I'm willing to test the waters. But while doing this, if I come up to you and whisper yellow in your ear, all the bratting needs to stop. We need to have a conversation about what's going on. Why are you doing it?
I like that.
That's until I get a better understanding of what kind of bratting they want to do, what kind of bratting I'm willing to accept. That would be the common ground. I'm your dom. If I say yellow, that shit stops. We have a conversation about it. We have to get into a discussion. And it's a constant build thing. It would be no different than right off the bat, jumping straight into an impact scene.
Without having any
kind of discussion. I don't know if I like it.
You would not, swing at somebody full force for the first swing that you've ever done on them.
My very first time of swinging a flogger, I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it.
Right.
So therefore, it took a while for me to build up to it. During that, you obviously wanted more, but also you was respectful in knowing that I was new, I was a little uncomfortable, and it's going to take time for me to get where I needed. I see bratting as being the same thing. If you're inexperienced at bratting and you meet a dom who is not experienced at it, be respectful, build them up, help them get that skill, help them with it. And then in the end, they will become what you need as a brat.
We were kind of walking through what some of the boundaries would be. There's like core behavioral boundaries, there's tone limits, emotional and psychological boundaries, power and control boundaries, discipline and consequence boundaries, context boundaries like when and where, and communication boundaries. So we've got a lot to cover in terms of like the things that we talked about. We said it's the backbone, so there's a lot. I mean, so core behavior boundaries.
Yep. So what qualifies as bratting versus disobedience? You define specific behaviors that are playful, teasing, mild defiance, or define what crosses the line, ignoring direct commands. Is it disrespectful tone? That kind of thing.
You would have a very hard time with somebody that constantly disregarded a command.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't give commands often because you're not a huge verbal person.
Correct.
So when you give a command, you are watching and enjoying and having a good time. And then you give a command and they run off in the opposite direction. Yeah, it's going to create a problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy.
The tone limits means like what language is acceptable during bratting. Mm-hmm. Am I allowed to swear to you? I'm not allowed to swear at you. Am I allowed to say names? Some people don't mind.
Right.
Words and phrases that are off limits, like personal or text or disrespecting you. Yep. I could be bratting you and tell you have a little penis, which he does not. But I mean, that would be something
She's
that
lying.
He does not. So the tone limits also have when bratting is allowed, is it always only in scenes, only in private? You would be bored if it was only in private.
Yes.
You want to see some of that.
Or only in a scene.
Right. You want to see some of that.
I want it a little bit in the 24/7. I want it to be a little bit of back and forth. I want it to be, fun. And I kind of picture it like, back in the vanilla world, the fun and flirty kind of stuff, where, you kind of pick just a little bit, to laugh, to get a good joke or something, to have a big ha-ha or some kind of moment. I picture it as that.
One of the things you have to be careful of, though, in the back and forth is that at some point it becomes, no, I said, but I told you, no, I said,
right.
And you can't, at some point you have to disrupt that cycle of, no, I won't. And yes, you will. No, I won't.
That's where the clear, stern tone, the look,
or a stop
safe
line,
word,
like when
like your stop line comes
there's
into play.
A clear point where play must immediately shift to compliance.
Yes.
And that has to be defined, at least in terms of, if I use this term, whether it's yellow, or if I stop and you hear and you see me look at you, pay attention to those cues.
If there is a silent stare, I mean, that's kind of my kind of cue to you is I will just turn.
But I sometimes push past that line. And when I push past that line, that's when you use your deep, gravelly voice that says, don't do that again.
Yep. There's a few phrases I will use.
There is.
Are you sure you want to go down this path?
Are you sure you want to? And I'm thinking, well, and I hesitate. In my head, I'm thinking, if I push, will I get a spanking or will it be a worse punishment? Because we don't have punishments like that defined, especially during bratting, since I don't brat very often.
Right.
So I really have to decide.
I don't like setting punishments for something in particular because, again, I may be feeling something different. I may just at the spur of the moment, depending on what that situation is, may have a creative punishment for you.
Right. But it's probably good if you're a brat continuously and you want a safe environment. It might be a good idea to define
to have your
some
standards,
sets of
or
here's what you can
punishment.
expect. Yeah, if level 1 is about these kind of things.
Right. If I'm not in a mood to brat, this is your level 1. This is what you can expect. Or, if you push past that, here's your level 2. And if you continue to go down that path, then here's your level 3. So you could set up
something like
some
that.
kind of
And then
samples.
you could also probably use that by saying, hey, you've just bypassed level 1.
Yep.
So that means you're at a level 2.
Yep.
Think very closely
Exactly.
before we hit level 3.
Exactly. So then that could
That
actually
would
add
be
more
fun.
play. Yes, it would.
Because then I can decide how severe my punishment is going to be.
Yep. So when you look at emotional and psychological boundaries, you've got to think about emotional triggers. Not everybody has them. A lot of people do have them. So what are those emotional triggers that you can set off?
The dom
or
set off the sub,
Yep.
because it goes both ways.
You're looking at topics that are off limits, such as insecurities, past traumas, maybe past relationships that they've done that, really set you off.
So for you, like, they could say that there is something that they can't have done.
Right.
As a submissive, I want to be a brat, but this is one of the punishments that is a normal one and I can't accept it.
Right. Yep. You got the humiliation boundaries. Is humiliation allowed? If yes, are you going to be playful about it or degrading? You have your correction style, what feels grounding versus what feels harmful. And of course, you have aftercare needs, especially important for brats who push emotional edges. So there's another aftercare you got to focus on.
Poor doms. They have all the work.
All the work. Second full-time job.
Second full-time job.
Absolutely. Go ahead with the next one.
It's power and control boundaries.
Yep.
I have all the power in this relationship, which you guys all know because you've been listening to the podcast forever.
Keep thinking that.
I don't.
Keep
All right.
that.
So levels of authority, is it situational, scene only? Are you negotiating a lifestyle of bratting, or is it going to be only during scenes?
Right.
So that's something that you have to know your authority. Are you able to control this only in this time? Is this who I am? That kind of stuff.
Right.
Pushback limits, how far the brat is allowed to escalate before it's no longer acceptable. And that's kind of been through all of it.
Yep.
Because a DS dynamic is a power exchange.
Yes.
You can break that power exchange by bratting to the point where where the dom no longer has control.
Yep.
Because you can do that and break the relationship.
Yep.
So when you're bratting, you want to make sure you stay within the defined guidelines, and not that you can't, like, we all do it. The pain levels that I can tolerate, and sometimes you push that because it's good to push it.
I tiptoe up to it,
and then maybe like push your foot over that line
just a little bit.
But that's the same thing with bratting. I think that it's fun to do that and then respect when your dom says that's enough.
Right.
So that is part of the power and control. That's the back and forth power of the dynamic, because as we all know, the submissive has full power in all the dynamics.
Yep.
If they do not, then it is an abusive relationship and not a consensual relationship.
Absolutely.
So the consistency, the dom's commitment to responding. So sometimes Master Nick, he gets busy and he may ignore the first couple of times I poke him. He may just not be willing to deal with it right now. And he's like sitting there all comfortable and quiet. And I'm in the mood to not be comfortable and quiet. And I'll just poke him. And he'll look at me and I'll poke him again. But he's not saying anything. He's not giving me the look.
Nope. I gave you a look of, you really just done that.
But if you as a dom aren't equipped to deal with a brat and you don't respond to their little bratting, the
little ticks,
the little ones where they're just trying to get your attention or just trying to get you to correct it, or just then when you reach the point that they escalate it, now they're going to escalate it to
Right.
the point where maybe it is no longer acceptable behavior.
Right.
So if you have a dynamic and the control and boundaries are set, then you need to be consistent as a dom, just like you are as a parent, just as you are with friends.
Right.
Don't be, don't sometimes do it and then other times just ignore it.
Right.
And then you said safe words,
Yep.
safe signals.
Absolutely. Clear, respected, and immediate. Make sure you have that.
If I say it, you respect it. Same
Yep.
thing, both directions. If you say yellow to a brat, then, and you guys have discussed this just like we're discussing it now, and you say yellow, then everything stops.
Yep.
And you talk about where you're at or what's wrong. Like you could look at your just like in a impact scene. If you say if I say yellow, you know to either change it up, move to a different implement. Ask me what's going on. Same thing with a submissive. If you say yellow to me because I'm bratting and you're at the point where it's disrespecting you, I should ask you, why did you say yellow to me?
What did I do?
What do I need?
Why did you call yellow?
Yep.
What should I have done?
Yes, and it should be outside of the bratting.
Yes.
Don't continue the bratting.
Definitely don't.
And do it like, well, what? You just can't handle it?
Right. Yeah, that would not end well.
That would not end well.
That would not end well at all.
I would never do that.
We would
smarter.
then move into the discipline and consequence boundaries.
See how well that worked?
That did. But no, for the discipline and consequent boundaries, types of corrections allowed. Is it only physical, verbal, task-based, removal of privileges, a little bit of all, making sure and having that spelled out.
That's like I said, like we were just talking, the level 1, level 2, level 3, because then you're not saying it's physical every single, you can just kind of give a general. It
starts off here and it builds to here depending on
intensity limits.
The intensity limits, hard caps on physical or psychological intensities. Consistency expectations. This goes back to the no empty threats. If it's stated, it's followed through. And as a dom, that is huge. Especially if you have it spelled out in your contract, in your negotiations. If you do this, this is what happens.
It doesn't matter if you're tired. You have to do it.
You have to do it. And you have to stay consistent. So there's no empty threats there. Even if you say one more time, this is what you'll get. If they do it one more time, then you have to act on it, no matter where you're at. And
here's the thing. If you don't, I lose respect for you as a submissive for being my dom if you threaten me and then don't do it. It's just like the kids that run rampant around the store and their parents are like, stop that right now, 20 times.
You put this into perspective. You're out in public. Let's say you allow public bratting and you're out in public and you're acting up. And one more time, I'm going to bend you over my knee and spank you.
Oh, what?
Now, if you brat one more time, I am required to bend you over. So knowing where we're at and what punishment I'm laying on the table for you, was that an appropriate punishment for the setting that we're in? If we're in a fancy high class restaurant, I don't think that punishment fits the scenario that we're in right now.
Right, because you might not be able to follow through. Right,
you can't just spout off some kind of punishment. If you continue, you have to take all your settings and where you're at, everything into consideration.
You can say, if you do that one more time, you're earning a spanking.
Right.
At the time of my choosing.
Yeah. So you've got to be careful of how you word it. So you can't just fly off the handle with a punishment. So keep that in mind. And then the big point here, no in the moment escalation beyond your negotiation. You can't escalate a punishment just because you feel like it needs to be escalated. It has to be spelled. It prevents emotional or reactive punishments.
Right. If you're starting to get angry at your bratting or, sassing or difficult,
you got to shut it down before it gets there.
Because you cannot react emotional, because things might escalate to the point where there's danger or where you're not in control. And as a dom, that is key. Be in control.
Yep.
So the next one was context boundaries, when and where.
Yep.
So again, it's all throughout, whether public or private behavior. it's kind of things that comes up a lot because the way I act to you in public is way more respectful than when we're in our house. Because in our house, I'll be like, go get, because you're walking in the room, I'll be like, grab the paper towels.
Yep.
That's not respectful. If I did that, like when you're out and about, it looks like I'm the dominant. In the house, you understand because you're walking by it. I have few words and a couple of seconds before your butt is on the seat.
And then that's where I rephrase that.
Yeah. So if you're out, though, that wouldn't be appropriate.
Right.
So is bratting allowed in public or social settings? Again, do you want your partner to be bratting to you while your mother is sitting there? Is that an appropriate time for your partner to be a brat?
I would say no.
How about if their mother-in-law, like your mother-in-law, as a dom, your mother-in-law is in the same room and there's your submissive bratting at you, and you likely can't just take her, put her over your leg and spank, or put, legs and spank her.
Depends on what the mother-in-law's into.
You are naughty. We are not going there.
While
naughty
doing
man.
that, look up and say, "Are you next?"
Like we watched
It would be a better with the mother-in-law than it would be the mother. I
Love Lucy episode where he puts her over.
Yeah, this was way back in the day.
Yeah,
too.
I Love Lucy, and he puts her over puts Lucy
knee.
over his knee.
And spanks her.
Ricardo puts, right?
Yep.
Ricky Ricardo puts her over his knee and spanks her butt on television. I love it.
Way back.
I love it. All right, so timing. When is bratting inappropriate? So it's not just about being social. It's not just about being in public versus in private, but there's also times when you come home from work and you might have on the way home said, it was a really bad day. I'm running an hour and a half behind. I'll be there in a little bit.
Right.
I might want to consider the context boundary and go, not the right timing to be a brat to you.
At least give me time to get home and kind of decompress.
Right. Like bring you a drink first before splashing it on your lap.
Oh, yeah. I know where you'll be after that.
I'm just showing what brats do. I'm not an actual brat.
That would be a fun one, I could tell you.
Oh, so like if it's stressful days or work mode, am I bratting you while you're at your office during a meeting and I'm calling you 20 times in a row because I feel like being a brat and you haven't answered?
Yep.
That might be bad.
That's why they have do not disturb on the phone. You just
shush.
Deal with it when you get time.
All right. Third party awareness. Are others aware of the dynamic or not, which is like the mother-in-law and stuff like that.
Yep. Or it goes back to the restaurant and the punishment that's been dialed up just in case. So your communication boundaries, communication again is key. It is what builds your dynamic. Everything is built off of the communication. So you got check-ins, you have regular dynamic reviews. You can do it weekly, you can do it monthly, quarterly, whatever. Permission to pause. Either party can step out of dynamic for clarity. And
that's like the yellow. I think
like
that's...
that is like calling a yellow. You're kind of taking a pause. You're kind of regrouping, trying to figure out what happened, what went wrong, and ways to avoid it in the future, come to a clear understanding and a common ground before moving on. Absolutely. Feedback style, how concerns are communicated without breaking structure. This should be something set up early on, that if the dom has a problem with the submissive or a submissive has a problem with the dom, how is the best way to counteract this? How's the best way to approach it? Obviously for the dom, it's a lot easier, but for submissives, it's harder for a submissive to come to the dom and say, stop, hold on, we need to talk.
Yes.
For a dom, we can put you in a kneeling position and stay quiet, and then we could just speak our mind as far as what's going on. But it would be a little harder for the submissive to have that kind of, feedback style.
Well, I guess that with that, it's the same thing, which we forget that when you're outside of a scene, you can still use green, yellow, red.
Absolutely.
So if your dom has done something that in response to your bratting Like you're bratting and being silly. He took it wrong and maybe is grabbing you and putting you over his leg, ready to give you a punishment. You can say red.
Yep.
And then that stops everything, even in that scenario.
Yep.
And that is a foolproof way to stop so that you don't get in a punishment that you may not understand.
Right.
Then you can talk about it and either redefine it, or you can understand why he's chosen to do that.
Right. Yep. And then clarity over assumption. Nothing important stays unspoken. So if it's important, it needs to be said, especially in this kind of dynamic.
But you probably don't want to say it while you're in the middle of bratting.
Well, that would be highly advisable not to. Absolutely. All right. Let's pause right there.
Okay. It's a good place to stop.
Let's take a break here. Let's let our listeners think about this.
Come
Go
up
back
with
and
some
listen to it.
comments, send us some stuff, because we are going to do the part two
Part
next
two will
week.
be
We
coming next
haven't
week.
recorded it. So if you come up with something that we haven't hit, please send us a message. But
Let us know. Absolutely.
we're gonna cover some more stuff next week.
We will have more. So come back for part 2. Can't wait to see you. Everybody have a great week.
Oh, we forgot something. Guess what? We were able to obtain a list of all the donations that people made. And what we want to do, and we'll get it together, we want to kind of just run through and anybody that donated stuff, we're going to do some call outs on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know we had the list.
We do. We got the list.
Okay.
I got the list. So
You got the list.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Till then, have a good week.
Thank you. Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.